just a little bit closer. We're going to take our fingertips to our hips. If you've come to one of my Reformer classes, this is going to feel nice and familiar. We're going to start with a little bit of breathing, and we're going to work into the hips with our breath. So I want you to take a nice big breath in, and as you do so, you're going to tilt your pelvis forward. So you're finding this really nice space between the lower back and the mat. Fingertips on the hips to get a feel for the movement. And as we exhale, we're going to sink the lower back down, drawing the belly button to the spine, really connecting through the front of the tummy muscles there. Feel them knitting together. We inhale, we tilt the pelvis forward. You can be as dramatic or as gentle as you like. We're just finding a little bit of mobility in that lower back. We're exhaling, we're sinking the lower back down. In all my classes, I try and encourage everyone to just move at their own pace. So throughout this mat Pilates video, I don't want you to feel that you have to stay in sync or in time with me. I want you to just move with your breath. Let your breath guide you through the movements. And when it's time to move on, we can all move on together. But it doesn't matter whether you've completed 3 reps or 10. You're just going to take it at your own pace. Good. On that next nice big inhale, we're just going to stop and find a neutral spine. So neutral space. We've got a little bit of area between the lower back and the mat, a little bit of space. Our hips are squared off towards the ceiling, and our tailbone is well and truly connected down to the mat. So we're not arching, we're not imprinting, we're somewhere in the middle here, finding that nice neutral space. Our arms are going to come down by our sides. We're going to take our right leg up off the floor. Toes are going to flex back towards our face. We've got our knee over the top of our hips, so the leg's in a tabletop position. And we're just going to start to lengthen the leg out in front of us. So inhale, breathe in as you stretch that leg out long. And we're going to exhale, draw the knee back in. If you need to, you can place your left hand onto the left hip so that you're giving yourself a little bit of stabilization as you move the right leg. We're trying to focus on keeping our tummy muscles connected. We're breathing in through our nose as we lengthen, out through our mouth as we bend. And we're just working on stretching that leg away from the body and then drawing it back in. We're trying not to let this left hip lift. So as we push out, the hip isn't tilting, not swaying over to the side. We're just bending and pressing. We're going to draw the knee all the way back in one last time. We're going to find that strap that we put down somewhere handy next to us before, and we're going to take that over the top of our right foot, and we're going to lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling, giving ourselves a little hamstring stretch. We're going to see if we can draw the shoulders back and down, really breathe into the stretch. And then we're just going to work into that foot. I want you to point the toes up towards the ceiling and then flex the toes down towards the face. If you can, for an extra challenge, see if you can stretch the bottom leg out. So we lengthen the leg all the way out long on the mat. Toes are flexing back for stability. We point and we flex. Inhale to point, find a bit of space. Exhale to flex. Just moving with your breath. If it feels good to hold it, listen to your body, see if you can pull a little deeper. This is your practice. You're just going to listen to what feels right for you. See if you can draw the shoulders back. Maybe bend the elbows towards the ribs just a little bit more. And then on that next nice big breath out, we're going to flex the toes and hold. Hold in that hamstring stretch, breathing into it. If it feels okay for you, you can stay here. If you want to take things a little bit further, take both of the straps into your right hand. Your left arm's going to need to go down beside you for a little bit of support, and you're just going to take your foot out towards the right hand side, only as far as you can keep this left hip down. If you're like me, you've got really tight hips, this is probably enough for my body. If I start to go any further, look what happens to that left hip. It lifts up, it rocks me off my spine. So my spine is lifted, my pelvis is no longer touching, the whole pelvis, is no longer touching the mat. So I'm only going to take that foot out as far as I feel comfortable. Because it's Pilates, we're going to move through it. We're going to inhale to center, and we're going to exhale to open. Inhale to center. If it feels better for you, you can just stay here in your hamstring stretch. Exhale to open. Give me one more big breath. And we'll bring it back. I'm going to bend that knee down into the body. Take the strap off your foot, nice and graceful. Pop it handy next to you, and then we place the foot back down onto the floor. We do the whole thing on the other side. So we're going to bring our left leg up into our tabletop position. Set that spine up for success. Neutral spine, belly button in, lower back is not sinking down, arms down by our sides. We flex the toes back towards our face. We're going to bend and press. So we inhale to find length. We exhale, we draw it back in. We inhale, we find length. We exhale, we draw it in. We're trying to find a crease through the front of this hip. So see how my back's staying relatively still. What I'm not doing is letting the lower back pop or lift as I stretch the leg out, and then sinking the lower back down as I pull in. So my hips, this is what we're not doing, my hips are not swinging with the movement. We're trying to keep that spine really neutral. You're going to keep moving at your own pace, moving with your breath. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, draw it in. It's a nice little fly in here with me, that's always good. Tummy muscles on. Let's see if you can find that strap, because next time you draw the knee in, we're going to hook the strap over our foot, and we're going to take that leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to have our one hand on each side of that strap, and we're just going to draw our shoulders back and down, tucking the elbows in. I always like to place the strap across the ball of my foot as opposed to the arch, just so that you're really protecting your arch and you can get a deeper pull as you go backwards. We're going to flex and point, so inhale, stretch the toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, flex the toes back towards the face. We inhale, we point, we find length through the front of our leg, we're creasing at the hip. We exhale, we draw the toes back towards the face. Try to find a big stretch in here. If you need to, your back's probably imprinted. Kudos to you if you can keep a neutral spine, I certainly can't. Point and flex. And then again, if you're happy staying here in your hamstring stretch, last big exhale, pulling down through the feet. Here's your option one, stay here, hamstring stretch. Option two, both straps go into your left hand, right arm goes down by your side. Try and keep your right knee pulling directly up to the ceiling, because it's going to want to sway out to the side to find some balance. So keep it stacked over the top, in line with the hip, in line with the ankle. And if it feels right for you, you can start to breathe out, take the left foot out. We breathe in, we draw the foot back above the body, we're keeping our right hip down. You can use the right hand for a little bit of feedback if you need it. My hips are incredibly tight. In fact, it almost feels better for me just to stay in hamstring stretch. I'm going to show you one more. We go out as wide as we feel comfortable, and we draw it back in. You're just going to take a few more breaths here. We're inhaling to center, we're exhaling to open. Each time you breathe out, feeling the muscles just really sink into the space that you've created on that in-breath. Good, and then last one, bring it all the way back to center, and from here, bending that knee down. We take our strap off. Beautiful. We're going to find that nice neutral spine. Right now we've got our heels on the floor. We're going to take our arms down by our sides. We're just going to turn our palms facing in. So just being gentle with those shoulders. Really feel the shoulders open up, the chest open. We're going to just give the head a little roll so that it feels nice and heavy. And we're relaxed through that neck. We're going to start with a little ab prep. So I want you to draw your belly button in. See if you can keep that neutral spine, because we've got our feet on the floor. We're going to tuck our chin, and we're going to exhale as we roll up. We're reaching the fingertips towards the toes, pulling the belly button in. We're going to take a nice big inhale to hold, and we're going to exhale, roll it down, let the hands float to the floor. Take a nice big breath in through the nose, tuck the chin. We exhale. We inhale to hold. We breathe out. We lower it all the way back down. See how we're moving nice and slowly. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to crunch. We hold, we breathe in. We exhale. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to crunch. Inhale to hold. Exhale, lower it down. If you want to take this a little bit further, here's your option 2. You're going to imprint the spine gently. Bring the legs up into your tabletop position. I want your toes to be pointing away from the body, knees over hips. You're going to keep moving whether you're doing option 1 or option 2. We exhale to crunch. We inhale to hold. We exhale, we lower it all the way back down. We inhale to prepare at the bottom, tuck the chin, exhale. Just moving at your own breath, at your own pace. If this tabletop position doesn't feel quite right for you, I want you to draw the knees in towards the chest just a little bit and take the feet higher. The higher your feet and the closer your knees are towards your body, the less pressure on your lower back. For a more challenging position, you take the knees over the hips, you drop the feet down, tabletop position. Keep moving. On the next big exhale, we're all going to crunch up and we're going to hold. So come with me, lower the head down wherever you are. We're going to exhale, crunch up, and we're going to hold. You're going to give me little splashes with those hands. Tuck the belly button in. We're splashing, we're relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. We're coming up a little bit higher if we can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can lower everything back down. Draw the knees into the chest. Take a little stretch. If it feels right for you, you can give yourself a little rock side to side here. And then we're actually just going to roll ourselves all the way onto one side. And we're going to sit ourselves up. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to come into a 4-point kneeling position. So we're on our mat somewhere in the center. Hands underneath shoulders. You can take your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders, but you don't want them to be in front. So they're underneath the shoulders and they can be maybe a little bit wider. Fingertips are spread for a nice stable base. Our knees are underneath our hips. Now we're going to start with a really beautiful stretch. So we're going to flex the toes, tuck the toes under, and we're going to push really actively through the hands, keeping this back flat so we're not sinking down, we're not arching up, we've got a nice flat back, rib cage tucking in. We're going to start to sink back towards the heels. You're going to feel your quads lengthening out and the shoulders really working to stretch that mat away from you. Good, we're going to inhale forward. Just take yourself over the fingertips a little bit so you feel the stretch through the wrists. And we exhale, we go back. Good, inhale forward. Exhale back. Here's some options. So, next time you go forward, see if you can lift the knees as you go back. The knees lift, the back is still flat. We let the knees touch down as we rock forward. We exhale. We push back. Good. Here comes the next option. See if you can keep the knees up the whole time. I'm trying to have a little check in. We're not quite full plank when we're in this position. We've still got bent knees. But we're just rocking through it, taking it slowly, trying to stay up. If you need to take a little moment, you know what to do. Knees come down, take a breath, come back when you're ready. We rock forward, stretch those wrists. Feel the shoulder blades peeling apart. We don't want to start to look like this. We don't want to sink into a big round stretch. We want to keep our back flat and we're really focusing on shoulders away from ears. See if you've got a few more. And then let's meet in a hover. The knees are up, the chest is over the hands, the toes are tucked. We are holding, we're not sinking the lower back, we're lifting it up, neck long, eyes on the floor. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, big breath. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees go down. Take the heels together, take those knees out wide, child's pose stretch. If it feels okay for you, you could even take your hands back behind you, letting the shoulders roll forward. Big stretch here. And then we're just going to come on up. Beautiful. From here, we're going to lie down on our side. So lying down on our side, we're going to take our arm outstretched. There's a few ways you can put this arm. If you like, you could have it bent and have a little cushion for your head. You could have the arm long. If it doesn't feel right for you having your shoulder up like this, you could always have your arm outstretched in front of you. Just find the position that feels comfortable for your shoulder, your body. And we're going to start with our bottom leg bent. So I like to kind of stack it along the front of the mat and get the hips back. Now, if you're used to being on a reformer, you would know that I would usually say shuffle right back to the back of the mat so you've got some space. And then we're just going to take our rib cage, feel your rib cage lifting up and in. So we're not just kind of relaxing into the mat, we're just being nice and active. We've got our hips one stacked above the other. We're going to take our right leg, or whatever leg you've got at the top there, whatever side you're lying on, because we're going to repeat it on the other side, don't worry. And we're just going to stretch our right leg all the way out towards the wall in front of us. Now, this hand can either be up on your hip, relaxing down by your side, or if you need it for a little bit of balance, it can be here in front. So we're going to start with some leg sweeps. I want you to focus on keeping the hip creasing. So we're going to keep our upper body still. We're going to start to point our toes. Sometimes it can help if you hold onto the hip joint. We're going to point our toes and we're going to take the leg all the way forward. Hamstrings stretching all through the back here. And then flex the toes towards the face. Exhale, kick it back. We inhale, we point forward, we stick our bum out. We exhale, we flex back. Inhale, point forward. Exhale, flex it back. And keep an eye on the time. You are just moving at your own pace. See if you can keep the leg up. It's a little bit higher than our hip joint, so it's not sinking down here towards the floor. We're keeping it up. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex it back. Here's a slightly challenging version. Next time you take the foot forward, flex the toes, see if you can come up and over to the back. So we point forward, straight line, flex the toes, semicircle. It's like a rainbow, up and over. See how my belly button is still drawing in? I'm not letting my rib cage collapse. I'm trying to keep the core really, oh, that was meant to be a flex. Keep the core really active. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Why don't we see if we can change direction? Flex the toes. Sweep it back. Point the toes up and over to the front. Flex the toes. Exhale back. Point the toes. Inhale forward. We've got a few more here. Remember, you can dial it back at any point. If the rotation doesn't feel right for your hip, you are not going to do it. Here we go. Slow 10. Countdown of 9. You're just moving at your own pace. We are here for 8, 7, 6, countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are finishing with a hold. Wherever you are, stretch that leg out, flex the toes back towards the face, keep the tension out of the upper body, belly button engaged, breathing and holding. Push the foot towards the wall in front of you, hold, hold, hold. Breathe, 3, 2, and 1. one, you're going to draw the knee in, place it down on the bottom one. From here, take the knee and just collapse it down onto the floor. So that's going to open up through the hip a little bit. And then if you like, you can even twist your upper body so it's facing up towards the ceiling. Feeling a nice big burn and a good stretch going on through that hip. From here, we're just going to roll onto our back. We'll take a little piriformis stretch, drawing the belly button to the spine, bring the heels in nice and close. We cross the working leg, so the leg you were just working, the right leg in my case. We cross that ankle over the knee, and if it feels okay for you, you can push away gently on that knee. Breathing into the hip stretch. Even better, you could even interlock the fingers behind the back of the opposite leg, lifting the foot up off the floor. Take a few big breaths here. Alright, so before we do the other side, we're going to place our right foot back down onto the floor. We're going to have both feet on the floor to start with. We're going to draw our belly button to our spine. Now, we're going to work both sides of the body, so I want you to start with the right side. We're going to bring our fingertips to our temples. We're going to take our right elbow over towards our left knee. So we're going to exhale, eyes hit the thigh. We're drawing the elbow towards the knee, and then we're going to slowly lower it all the way back down. So it's a crunch up, big breath out. Lower it down, big breath in. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lower. What I'm not doing is being really dramatic about it. I'm not trying to get the other elbow to the floor. I'm not taking this elbow down and taking my eyes to the ground. I'm taking my eyes to my thighs so that I feel a really purposeful pull here to here. I'm trying to make this gap really small. This rib, this hip, pulling them together. If you want to take this further, here's your option 2. Next time you lower it down, extend the left leg, point the toes. As you crunch, that leg's going to lift up. So we fold up, we take the elbow towards the knee, we lower it down, lower the leg, stabilize using the right foot, pushing the heel into the floor. Inhale to lower, exhale. Remember, take it at your own pace. You don't have to move with me, you're just moving with your breath. This leg, notice how it's not hitting the floor. I'm trying to keep it hovering, keeping it straight, keeping it really active. Let's go one more and hold. 3, 2, 1. We lower everything down. If the foot is up, place it back to the floor. We do the other side. Starting with both heels on the ground. Shuffle them in, set yourself up for success. Just making sure that our lower back is not popping. So we're keeping our rib cage tucked in, belly button on. Fingertips gently at the temples. We're not holding our head, we're just resting our fingertips lightly. And we're going to start to fold. Breathe out. Come up. Breathe in. Lower down. This time we're going the other side. Left elbow, right knee. And lower it down, moving with your breath. Just checking in with those elbows. We want to make sure that our elbows aren't all the way out here, so they're not collapsing to the floor. We want to try and keep our shoulders down, which means our elbows need to be in our peripherals. If they're too tight, it looks a bit out of control. If they're out here, our shoulders are lifting, our shoulders are popping, so drawing them in, have them within your eye line, and we crunch up. The exhale, we take it all the way back down. Here's option 2, sticking the leg out if it feels right for you. We fold, and we lower with control. Keeping the left leg really, really active, pushing the foot into the mat so that this knee is not wobbling all around. We're trying to keep it stacked, so kneecap pulling directly up. There's a line through our hip, our knee, and our ankle if we're looking at it. Where was I? Crunch up. Good, lower it down. We've got the eyes on the clock. We've got a few more breaths here. And let's do that last one and hold, fold it up, hold, 3, 2, and 1. We lower it all the way down, take the foot to the floor. Good, from here you can draw those knees into the chest, take a little stretch, or it feels better for you. If it feels better for you, sorry, you can take the knees side to side. Just give yourself a little twist, opening up through those obliques. Good, we've got some legs to do on the other side. So, I would just say, roll over. I'm going to spin around so you can still see what I'm doing. Lying ourselves down. Remember we had ourselves shuffled back towards the edge of the mat. You've got options with your arms, so do what feels right for you. And our bottom leg, we're going to stack it so that the shin is along the front edge of the mat. We've got it on a right angle to give us a nice stable base. Hips stacked, tummy muscles on, you're pulling your rib cage up and in, so we're not slouching, we're lifting, we're engaged. This hand, remember, can go on your hip, it can go on the floor. We're going to start with sweeping forward and back. So we take the leg up, we're going to point our toes, reach the foot away from the body. As the foot comes forward, we're keeping the toes pointed and we are breathing in. Stick your bum out slightly, crease through the front of the hip, flex the toes back towards your face, exhale, sweep it back. We're stopping when the foot is in line with the hips. We don't have to go all the way back here. We're keeping it in line with our body. We're going to point the toes, inhale, bring it forward, flex the toes, exhale, sweep it back. You're just going to move at your own breath. If your leg starts to feel heavy, just take a moment. You can place it down on the bottom one. You can come back when you're ready. We're trying to stabilize using this bottom leg. Point to come forward, flex to sweep it back, squeeze the bum. I'm going to bring you those options now. So next time you come forward, if it feels right for you, we still flex, but we're going up and over to the back. We inhale, we come forward, we flex the toes, we exhale, point, forward, flex, back. Just move at your own breath. Remember, the two sides of the body aren't always the same. I know that this hip, for me, is going to fatigue a lot quicker than the other side. That's okay. We're just going to do what we can. We listen to our body. We don't want to have any bad pain. So if there's bad pain, you pull out, you take a moment. Good pain is going to feel like a nice little crampy feeling right here in the piriformis muscle. It's holding on tight, it's working hard. See if you can keep going. See if you can change direction. We point. We come up and over to the front, flex, sweep it back, point, up and over to the front, flex, sweep it back. Try and keep the tummy muscles on, keep moving. What's that time doing? We've got a little bit longer here. Here's your countdown. Slow 10, 9, we're here for 8, 7, 6, 5. This is always great to do in front of a mirror if you've got one. That's why I keep looking over there. We're here for 4. Typical Pilates teacher, getting distracted in the counting. And 3, 2, and lucky last 1. Sweep it back and hold, pushing the foot away from the body, flex the toes towards the face. Keep it up, keep the tummy muscles on, we hold, we breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Pull the knee in, and again, place it down on the floor in front of the bottom one. Take a little twist if it feels right for you. Letting the shoulders open, the obliques are letting you roll back, breathing into that hip. And then when it feels right, just taking yourself onto your back. For our piriformis stretch, we cross the ankle of the working leg over the top of the other knee. Stay here if this is enough. You can push away on the knee to deepen the stretch, but if it feels right for you, bring the opposite leg up. You can interlock the fingers. This foot that's crossed over top of the other one, just keep the toes really active. So we don't need to point the toes, we want to pull them back towards the shins. Keep the foot active to increase the stretch. Find the spot that feels right for you and breathe into it. Gorgeous. Pop that foot back down, uncross the legs. From here, we're just going to practice a little roll up. So I want you to outstretch those legs. We want to try and keep our feet about hip distance apart. So have a look at them. You've got your toes flexing up towards the ceiling. Our hips are sinking down into the floor. We're going to take our arms, we're going to lift them up above us, but first of all we want to set our spine up. So checking in, find neutral, a little bit of space between the lower back and the carriage, rib cage tucked in. When you're comfortable, take the arms up above the shoulders. Good. So we're going to start with a little tuck of the chin. We're going to tuck our chin. We're going to start to imprint our back. So tuck the chin, feel the lower back sink down. And we're just going to exhale as we come up into this little crunch position. Our eyes are on our toes. We're pulling the tummy muscles towards the floor. We're going to inhale, lower the head, neck and shoulders, eyes lift. We're going to exhale, tuck the chin, sink the lower back down, little crunch. So this is the start of our roll up. If you can't do a full roll up, I just want you to focus on this first part of the movement. So we're feeling the space between our ribs, which is here, and our hips down here gets as small as possible, whilst keeping our legs extended. I want you to keep moving through this at your own breath. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lower. See the space here and here? We exhale, we make the space small. We inhale, we find the length again. Good. If it feels right for you, on this next one, you're going to start to take your hands back. So we're stopping the rib cage from popping, keeping it tucked in. Inhale into here. We're going to exhale as we come up and over. Crunch. Inhale, hands go back. Exhale. Crunch. Let's see if we can go all the way on the next one. We inhale, hands go back. Exhale, tuck the chin, sink the lower back down, start to peel yourselves up, and I want you to lift the eyes, lift the chest, lift the spine, come up onto your sit bones, sit tall. Let's see if we can do it again. So we're going to roll it back, tense the tummy muscles, we're rocking off of our sit bones, we're pushing energy through our heels, we're going to roll all the way back and down, eyes lift, hands start to draw back, breathing in, exhale, tuck the chin, pull the tummy muscles in, roll yourself up. You've still got a nice round back shape here, and then we lift, we lengthen the eyes, we come up onto the sit bones, pulling ourselves out of our hips. Let's try it a few more times. Again, at your own breath, see if you can pull the tummy muscles in, rock off the sit bones, feel the tummy scoop, and the hips pulling you back and down. Your glutes have to be really on as you go back, just to keep you contained so that you don't just flop onto the floor. Moving at your own pace, see if you can give me a few more of these. If it's not right for you, remember, stick with option one, which is just the little crunches. And then on the last one, we're going to stay up. So giving me the best one yet. Tuck the chin, sink the lower back down, big exhale, come up, sit tall. Beautiful work. We're going to come up to standing. So, come on up. We're going to do what we call a little bit of a lunge flow. It's going to be a lateral lunge. So there's going to be, again, a few options. You're just going to move at your own pace. I'm going to start with my feet quite wide, and my toes are going to be pointing forward. So my feet are parallel. There's the same distance between my big toes and my heels, toes pointing forward. You can do whatever feels right with your arms. If you want to outstretch them, outstretch them. If you want to bring the hands to the center, bring them here. Sometimes hands on hips. Just do what feels right for your body, your balance. We're going to start to bend our left knee, sinking down into the heel. And then we're just going to exhale. You're going to go up and over. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Up and over. Big breath in, sink into it. We're just trying to keep our knee over the top of our toes as we go down. You're going to feel it really engaging in your glute as you push through and sink to the other side. Just again, at your own pace. If you want to take the feet maybe a little bit wider, see if that feels right for you. You're going to feel a beautiful adductor stretch all the way through here, the wider your feet are. See if you can really sink into it. Move with your breath. Trying really hard not to let the knee collapse and the arch lift. So I'm keeping all points of my foot touching. So my big toe, my pinky toe and my heel are all digging into the floor. Good. Next time we come to center, we stay there. We come up to center. Now we're going to turn our toes out. So we've gone from a parallel position. We're going to rotate the hips. Laterally rotate. We're opening up. Same movement. Now our knee, as it bends, it's going to go off to the side. It's going to go through the big toe. Exhale. Over to the other side. Good. Get the hands out of the way. Try and keep the eyes up. It's good to always just check what's going on and then bring the eyes back up, because otherwise we start to look like this. We're leaning into it too much. Again, with your breath. Here's where it's going to get interesting. If you want to take this further, we get rid of the up and over. So now we're just going to go side to side, and you're going to start to let your heels lift. So imagine you are sliding your hips along a table. You're gliding your bum along the desk. We're just going side to side. And then, if you can, lifting the heel. So the knee that is bent, we lift the heel. Good. Sinking into it, seeing if you can get a little bit deeper, a little bit lower with each one. See if you can keep those hips really still so they're not going up and over. It's quite tempting to, and in fact, if it feels better, you do what's right for you. Now here's the hardest part, staying up on the tiptoes with both feet. So now, we're not letting the heels go down, we're just gliding. Here's your countdown, last 5, 4, 3, strong legs, strong balance, 2, and 1. We're going to meet at center, heels up, and hold. Hold, hold, hold. Sink a little deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Take the toes back in. We're just going to take a little stretch. Whew. Now, if you can't cross your hips, if it doesn't feel right for you, just keep your feet parallel and just go straight down to the floor. If crossing the legs feels comfortable for your body, take the left foot over the right, reach towards the floor, try and get the eyes to the thighs and just pull yourself into that beautiful IT band stretch. Big breath in, you're finding a little bit of space, and as you exhale, sink into it. Good, one more big breath here. Good, let's cross those legs over the other way. So we roll it all the way up, we cross the other way, whoop, find some balance, and reach it to the floor. Remember, here's your option if the crossing doesn't feel right, you just stay in a forward fold. We find a little bit of space, and we exhale, we sink into it. You can bend your knees, just do what feels right for your body. Creasing into the hips. And rolling it all the way back up. Good. From here, we're going to come into a plank position. So I want you to stand at one end of your mat, feet hip distance apart, eyes up. I just want you to roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to take our arms up above our head, breathing in, and And we're just going to start to collapse from the hips. So creasing at the hips, we're going to exhale, stick the bum out, reaching all the way forward, right until the very, very, very last second when you can't reach anymore, your hammies are on fire. I'm going to let you collapse all the way to the floor. Bring the hands to the ground, and we're just going to start to walk ourselves out into a plank position. Good, set yourself up, feet hip distance apart, hands are going to be a little bit wider than the shoulders. Now it's going to be like a downward dog, but I want you to keep your heels up. So plank position, eyes at the front of the mat, draw the shoulders back and down. Tuck your chin, we're going to exhale and we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, eyes to the thighs. Keep the heels up. We're going to inhale to the plank, eyes to the front of the mat, neck long. And we're going to exhale, tuck our chin, lift our hips, push through the balls of the feet. If it doesn't feel right for you, take your knees down, take a little stretch, come back in when you're ready. We're just moving nice and slowly, transitioning between this beautiful long neck, long spine, kneecaps pulling up, strong plank, to a downward dog shape, hips up, heels up, eyes on the thighs. Good. See if you can start to roll it. So from here, I'm going to try and lift my hips, lift my back, lift my ribs, keeping my eyes on my thighs right until the last second. Then I lengthen out. And then I work from the top. I tuck my chin, I lift my ribs, then I lift my hips, then I start to flatten the back out. So I'm kind of rolling through this wave. I'm going to keep moving here. Moving with your breath. Here's your other option. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, when you come into this position, I want you to try and drop your heels, lift back up, rock it forward. So, we tuck the chin, we lift the hips, we push into the downward dog, we try and drop the heels, we lift up, we glide it forward. Let's do a few more breaths. And then on that lucky last one, I want you to find your plank and hold. Find your plank. Hold it strong. Think about lifting the neck forward so we're not sinking through the head. Eyes are up, shoulders strong. Spread the fingertips, push into the palms of your hands, push the heels back, don't relax the knees like this. You want to lift them up, squeeze your glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees go down, heels come together. Take the bum back, sit bones to heels, child's pose. Again, if it feels right for you, bring the hands all the way back. From here we're going to come into a shell stretch as well. So take the hands back to the floor, lift it up, bring your knees together. Our shell stretch is really similar to a child's pose, but we're finding a lot of roundness to our spine, so it's beautiful after we do extension. Hands are on the floor. We're going to tuck our chin and we're just going to arch our back. You can let the fingertips lift. I want you to do what feels right for you. We're breathing into it. Feeling the back muscles opening up. Big breath in. You can release slightly and exhale. Shell stretch. Beautiful work. Alright, I've got one more thing to do. I'm going to come onto our bum. Let's stay facing this way so I can see the mirror. So, we're sitting on our bum. We're going to have our legs all the way out in front of us. Again, our toes are going to be flexing back to keep our legs active. And we're not rounding the back. We're trying to find our sit bones and lift up onto them, lifting up through the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. Now we're going to start with our arms. This is actually a great exercise if you want to have a little dumbbell or something in your hands, maybe just a can of baked beans, anything. You don't need a prop or a weight, but if you've got one, that could be a nice option for you. We're going to have our arms outstretched. We're going to drop our shoulders away from our ears, and we're just scooping our hands around. So I like to do this kind of scoop to get my palms facing up, my elbows are soft, and my shoulders are down. So the reason my arms aren't completely extended is because this is what happens. My shoulders lift. So drop the shoulders, soften the elbows. It's like a little bicep curl. I want you to think about creating tension here in your biceps. You're going to exhale. And we inhale. My legs are so active. Like I can feel my legs shaking from all the leg work we've done because I've got my toes flexing back. Exhale, bring the hands in. And inhale, lengthen the arms out. Try and keep your eyes up. And imagine there's a nice pole going up through your spine. So even though you want to collapse into it, you're not. You're lifting up. One more, we're going to add a hinge. So if you can, it doesn't have to be far, tense the tummy muscles, hands are in. You're going to start to lean back. Eyes will lift slightly. And then we're going to push the arms up. Reach forward, rounding your back, reaching towards the toes. We stack the spine back up nice and tall, drop the shoulders, we're back in the start position. Exhale, bicep curl. Inhale, start to hinge at the hips. We're going to exhale, push the arms up and reach forward. Beautiful, collapsing the spine. We start to stack it all the way back up. Here's option one if you don't want to do the hinge. We come to here. You're still going to push up and over, eyes lift, you round forward and you stack the spine back up. So you're still getting that lovely mobility into the spine. Hands come up, push up and over, round forward, stack the spine. If you're going back with the hinge, we bring the hands in, we start to lean back, tummy muscles on, up and over. And stacking up. When we're going up and over, notice how I'm not trying to get my chest to my thighs. I'm trying to round. I like to imagine there's a big beach ball here. So I'm rounding my spine up and over a big beach ball. I'm not trying to do a forward fold. I'm not trying to collapse. I'm not trying to keep my back flat. I'm rounding and reaching, then stacking. Keep moving if you can. Here's your countdown, last 5. 4. Toes are active, legs are strong. We're here for 3, 2, sneaking in one last rep, and sitting all the way up, nice and tall. Beautiful. We're going to roll ourselves down for a stretch. So drop the shoulders away from the ears, pull the belly button in, tuck the glutes, so feel your glutes pulling towards your heels. We're going to scoop the belly and start to roll all the way down to the floor. Beautiful. And I'm going to shuffle forward. For this last little bit, we're just going to do a little stretch. So down on the ground. Strap handy just in case you need it. Now, you can have your legs out straight, or if you need a little bit more support, bend one knee. It doesn't matter to me whether that leg is long or bent. Do what feels right for you. We're going to take the other leg and we're going to draw it into the chest. Toes are flexed. Interlock the fingers, pull the knee in. So that bottom leg is either out straight or it is bent, whatever feels right. From here, we're just going to round the foot. So start to wiggle the toes, circle the ankle, breathing into the stretch. Do what feels right for you here, just holding and breathing. Good, and we're going to finish with some leg circles. It's going to feel nice and familiar to those of you who join my Reformer classes. These are going to be a little bit different. Here's where that strap comes in handy. We're going to hook the strap over our foot and go back up into our hamstring stretch, just like we did at the start. Now from here, we're going to take both of the straps into that hand, so same hand as the leg that's extended. The other arm goes down by the side, again, like we did at the start. I want you to point your toes, oh, there goes my light, And you're just going to start to draw little circles. You're going to go out and around and down. You're going to come across the body, back towards the face, out and around and down. And you're just controlling the circle with your arm, giving yourself some support. The other arm is down, the other leg is down. Again, if you need to, that can be bent. Just do what feels right for you. We're just going to keep moving in this direction. Exhale to go out and around. Inhale across the body to the face. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's change direction. We're going to go out and around, away from the body, towards the face, and then across the body's midline. Good. Inhale, out and around. Exhale, across the body. Last 5, 4. Countdown of 3, 2, and lucky last one. Hold hamstring stretch, flex the toes, and then we bend the knee down. We move to the other side. So we're going to start with the knee coming in. We draw it in towards the chest. We're going to hold onto the knee, interlock the fingers, give the ankle a little twist, wiggle the toes, just really breathe into that hip. And then taking the strap, placing it over your foot for some single circles. I'm going to take the foot all the way up. The straps, both of them, go into the same side as the foot, the same arm as the foot. The other arm goes down. We point the toes. We're going to start going across the body, down, out and around. Just finding your rhythm. We're going to change direction. You can play around with the foot. You can flex the toes towards the face. You can point it away from you. Again, keeping your core engaged. You might be able to go all the way out. I certainly can't. I just rock off. So try and really focus on what your body can do, where your range of motion is, that you can keep your pelvis steady and still, locked to the mat. We're going to keep moving for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Change direction. Good. Slow it down a little bit if you can. Try not to let the shoulder pull up. So as you drop the leg, you're not lifting the shoulder. You're keeping the shoulder down just like the hip. Last 5, 4, 3. Countdown of 2. And lucky last one. Hold the hamstring stretch. And then bend the knee down into the body. Take the strap off. Good. From here, I'm going to bring both feet up. Lift the heels. See if you can use your tummy muscles. So tense the tummy muscles. Take the arms down by the side. See if you can use the tummy muscles to draw the knees into your chest. Give them a little squeeze. If it feels right for you, you can rock side to side. Or you can take yourselves into your butterfly stretch by just gently opening the knees, bringing the hands to the shins or the ankles. Take the heels together, fan the toes out wide, and just gently pull the heels towards the glutes. You're using your arms to push away gently on those thighs. If this doesn't feel right for you, of course, stay here, or just be gentle with your body as you pull yourself into it. I'm trying not to let my back lift, so I'm not letting my tailbone come up off the mat. I'm keeping my tailbone down and my spine long, and I'm just gently pulling my legs into the stretch. Last 5, 4. We're holding for 3, 2, and lucky last one. Just ease your way back down onto the mat. Take a moment if you need it. Take any other stretches while you're here. And then you're just going to roll yourself onto one side. Reach the top arm up and over. and we push ourselves up into a seated position, just like that.